Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. And today Bungie just released a really long state of the game article that talks about all the changes they plan to make leading up to the next expansion, the Final Shape, which is coming after Lightfall. It is a really long article, so I am not going to read through the whole thing, but I will just quickly summarize some of the changes coming to the game during the year of Lightfall. First off, Joe Blackburn is the one writing this article, and he is the game director for Destiny 2. So first he talks about how he wants to change the seasonal model due to recent feedback from the community, and that this next season, called Season of the Defiance, will not be including any of the feedback given, as the development for the season was mostly finished by the time all the feedback was coming in. However, the next season, which is called Season of the Deep, will start to change things up. We will have more on that later. He does go on to say that we will no longer have to collect seasonal currencies like the Umbral energies, and we will not have Umbral engrams anymore. Instead, we will have the engrams for the seasonal vendors and can spend Glimmer to focus them once you unlock focusing with the corresponding seasonal vendor. We will not have to carry engrams in our character inventory any longer, and instead they will just stay with the seasonal vendor, similar to how Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit does focusing engrams, I assume. Additionally, we will no longer use the seasonal currencies, like I said before, to open bonus chests at the end of seasonal activities or to focus engrams anymore. We will now use a singular key to open the bonus chests now at the end of seasonal activities. However, a key will not drop every time you complete the seasonal activity. This is to give the feeling that the extra chest is a bonus rather than a requirement. The keys will only drop into seasonal activities, so you will no longer have to play other activities to get the thing you need to open the bonus chest in the seasonal activity. We will also have a fewer total vendor upgrades during the coming season, starting with Season of Defiance, which means that each upgrade with the vendor should be more potent and other offering variants on the way we can interact with seasonal activity. There has also been a change to the naming system of the various progression systems and currencies so people can easily understand what the thing does. Next, in the seasons to come, they are getting rid of the vendor upgrade paradigm, but that not every season will be like this. So expect some seasons to have the vendor upgrade paradigm that we know to come back during some seasons and gone in others. They want to take this chance to explore various ways to have players show their investments into seasonal content. Season of the Deep will start with this new model of having no upgrade paradigm like we have now. They talk about Guardian ranks and loadouts, but nothing new there, just that they are coming with Lightfall. Weapon crafting is getting some changes, and we will now be introduced to less weapons able to be crafted, and more weapons with long-term sources will get value from random perk rolls. So this sounds like weapons that are going to be dropping in the game long term are going to have more valuable perk rolls, while only a very few amount of weapons will be craftable. Some weapons in Lightfall and beyond are going to start to have the ability to drop with enhanced perks on them, starting with the adept raid weapons in Lightfall, so that these weapons can stand toe-to-toe with crafted weapons. This note says, enhancing allows your dropped weapon to start leveling up, use mementos, and gain access to both enhanced perks and enhanced intrinsic properties, but only the enhanced version of perks and masterwork that are already on the version of the weapon. So this is confusing to me. I'm assuming enhancing is like a new type of masterwork for craftable weapons when they drop as a red border, and allows you to level up the gun with the perks that you like, so that when you craft the weapon, it will already be at level 20 once you do have the patterns to craft the gun. Might need some more info about this. In a previous article, they talked about removing deep sight on weapons unless you need a pattern for the weapon still, so that it removes the confusion on whether or not a red border is craftable or not. Additionally, in Season of the Deep, they will be adding a mechanism to activate deep sight on any craftable weapon they do not have the pattern for. They want to bring challenge back into Destiny, and they said that they started to test something out with this season's heist battlegrounds, where we were capped at a certain power level in the battlegrounds. On top of that, they also gave us another article talking about tuning abilities, recharge time by increasing the cooldown time of our abilities, and scaling down some of the potency of our stats. Also, with the addition of the light subclasses getting their 3.0 revamp, everything we had to synergize with weapons and gear better, so that also made our power spike. They are increasing the energy required to slot in resilience mods as well. The minor mod will cost 2 energy and the major mod will now cost 4. In the coming season, they are going to be using the same setting they had for power and difficulty with Heist Battlegrounds with the new seasonal activity. They are also going to be doing the same thing to the Vanguard Op playlist, but lower, so it won't be as hard as the seasonal activity, but enemies will hurt and take more damage. They will also apply this setting in patrol areas with its own level, different to Vanguard Ops and the seasonal activity. They talk about experimenting with power progression in the game during this year, but what is going to be different this year is that with every season in Lightfall, there will be no power cap increase every season. PvP is getting Countdown back, along with a respawn variant called Countdown Rush. In Countdown Rush, players must detonate or defuse both bombs on the map before the round ends. Crucible Labs will be coming back and with a new mode called Checkmate Control that will feature different experiments with weapon damage, ability uptime, and even ammo. They have some more modes and classic modes planned as well. There will also be new maps and returning maps coming this year, starting with Meltdown in Season of the Deep, a new Vex Network map in Season 22, and the return of Citadel in the last season before the final shape comes out. Along with that, they are also doing a retuning pass on the spawn points for existing maps. Trials will also be getting some updates to rewards and matchmaking. Finally, in competitive, they are looking at ways to improve the speed at which players climb their ranks. There will be an exotic mission rotator coming into the game during Season 22, which will include missions from Season 13, 16, and 19. So, Presage, Vox Obscura, and Operation Seraph Shield. With that system, there are also plans to bring back other exotic missions back into the game. So hopefully we can see the exotic mission where you got the outbreak back in the game. With Vanguard Strikes, they are planning to refresh some of the older strikes in the game to be more suited for current games, starting with Lightfall. They have changed the objectives and encounters with the Lake of Shadows and Arms Dealer Strike. With this new refresh, they are looking to also do the same to Exodus Crash and the Inverted Spire, so they will not show up as often while in the Vanguard Op playlist and removing them from the Nightfall rotations. They will still be available from a direct launch, but will not show up as often in the playlist until they get a refresh. The Battlegrounds from Season 16 and Season 19 will now also be added to the Vanguard Op playlist, and some of them will also be added as a Nightfall, starting with the Mars Heist Battleground and more to follow each season. So more changes are in the works, but won't make it in the game when Season of the Defiance drops with Lightfall. The changes include more rewards to ritual content, more options to engage with ritual content, so they want to move the initial source of obtaining exotic armor away from lost sectors and back into core rituals. No longer asking players to earn all 3 of the Ritual Pursuit ornaments and seasonal challenges, and allowing players to earn more new rewards and complete more of their weekly challenges by playing content of their choice, and not just in the seasonal activity. The rebalancing of these changes will slowly happen over the year and will be more direct during the last season of Lightfall. Joe talks about commendations in text chat and how these systems are supposed to help new and solo players to reach out for help. Starting in Lightfall, the text chat is something that you will automatically be opted into, but you will have the option to opt out whenever you want. Finally, Fireteam Finder, which is the in-game LFG, is the biggest social system they will implement in the game. This feature was supposed to launch during Season 22, which is when we would get another reprise raid into the game. But unfortunately, the Fireteam Finder system is being delayed to Season 23, which will be released alongside a new dungeon for the game. So those are all the notes quickly summarized in the State of the Game article that came out. I think all of this sounds promising for the most part, but I am left wondering about the whole weapons being enhanced part. Exotic Mission Rotator sounds great. The whole rewards revamp and loot changes with the seasons and the core game also sound really good, but we won't know until we get our hands on these new changes. Also, Zero Hour. That's the mission with the outbreak. I hope that one gets added back into the game eventually, because I really like that one. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think, and be sure to like the video and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.